We've already kicked it off,
got a
guys.
pretty good
Welcome to
idea.
episode 102. I hope that's the episode number because it ain't 100. We already did. Oh, this is 101. Okay, we already did 100. 100's a thing of the past. Welcome to 101. This is the new.
That's right.
Corridor
101.
cast.
Celebrating 101 and Jake's birthday.
That's right. So we have a very special guest today, but I just must say, yesterday everyone thought it was my birthday, and it wasn't. And I realized that was because a long time ago there was a platform called Facebook, and I deleted my original account. And then I realized that I could not access Corridor's Facebook account unless I personally had a Facebook account. So I tried to make one. Well, it took months in the making because every time I tried to make an account, they thought it was a fake account for some reason. So I was very fed up. And I think at one point I had given them the wrong birth date. And then somehow that stuck around. And so now everyone thinks my birthday is July 27th. So I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah, because Jordan saw that. I was with her at the time, and she was like, "Oh, did you know it's Jake's birthday today?" I was like, "Oh shit!" And I texted you,
Yeah,
"Hey, happy birthday, buddy!" And then she
and
posts it on the story on Instagram.
I really appreciate everyone saying happy birthday. It was really nice. And
How
I
many
felt
DMs
terrible
did you
because-
get? Did you get a lot of birthday DMs?
Yeah, man, probably like 10 people yesterday said happy birthday to me. And I've yet to decide if I should have this kind of extended, awkward conversation about how it was in fact not my birthday, or if I should just say thank you. It was great.
Yeah, it's like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
See, I was authentically going to send you a birthday message and forgot. And I felt bad that I was going to have to say happy belated birthday, Jake. But turns out it makes me look like I'm cool.
It's fake birthday.
I'm sorry, I forgot your
I've known
fake
you
birthday.
since I was 16 years old. You don't know when my birthday is?
Oh man,
Maybe it's because deep down I knew that it wasn't actually your birthday. So
Let's
there you
go
go.
with that.
Yeah, he just knew. He knew you too well.
But anyway, this episode's not about me. We have a very special guest today, a man named Joshua Drury. What's going on, buddy?
Hey. This is actually my first podcast, so if I'm a little bit weird.
Of all time.
It's my first time.
Wow.
And it's my favorite podcast, so
Nice.
Oh, really?
it's kind of a pleasure to be your
Wow.
guest on here for the face time.
Wow.
Thanks.
And
It's gonna be
If
weird
you
when you
guys
listen to
don't
this in your
know-
car later and hear yourself.
I always go back and listen to him to make sure I didn't say anything stupid, but usually that never comes out to be true. But,
It's inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point you just give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Joshua's got a very awesome Instagram, and that's kind of, Nico, you were the first one to see the work, so
Yeah.
what was
I guess,
that like?
I don't know if anybody else happened to come across it when I did, but it just popped up on Reddit one day. You were doing these cool little, short single shot VFX kind of moments. The thing that stood out to me is, a lot of people when they do like the little VFX magic tricks on Instagram or TikTok or Vine, whatever. Usually it's hidden cuts, match cuts, kind of like stuff that doesn't really require generating imagery, but you're working with things you've already captured with the camera. And sometimes it's super complicated. You have to film like 5 or 6 different elements to get them all together, get them lined up, get the lighting to match, come back at different times, etc. But Josh, you're doing your work with actual 3D modeling and dynamics and physics and comping all that in, and also dealing with a lot of having yourself in the shot and then you get chopped in half. And so you're working with that seamless transition from real footage to 3D footage. So it caught my eye and it was fun. And the other thing that stood out to me was that you tell a little itsy bitsy story with each one too.
Yeah.
So I thought they were cool, and we ended up kind of touching base, and throughout the spring, as we started talking about hiring more CGI generalists, we ended up talking to Josh more, and now you're out visiting LA and kind of seeing what corridor life is like out here.
Yeah, it's been quite nuts actually. Like meeting you guys in person it's mind blowing. Seeing you guys and playing Smash against you guys was a big thing we had going.
Wait,
Talking a lot of trash before you started playing.
Did you crush anybody in Smash though? Real talk.
On the first day, I kind of trash talked everybody, and everybody got a really, really into it, I guess. So when we played Smash the first time, I actually lost to Dean because I was
really
nervous.
good though.
It was the first time playing, and it's everyone was it was the first time playing with like so many people watching, and it's like I got very nervous about it, and like I've never actually gotten that nervous playing a game in front of this many people. So it's like Dean beat me the first game, but then I was able to beat him the second game, and then during the whole chirping kind of thing, I told Nico that I could beat him with his player Gannon, and I got close, but I made a bunch of
two stocked.
I made a bunch of mistakes, which kind of resulted in me losing. But if we play again and I'm less nervous, I know I could beat him. So it's
Okay.
All right.
Maybe a couple less people.
It's like I'm getting to play them more and more now, so it's like I'm kind of getting used to like feeling a little bit more confident when I'm playing. So it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not shaking. It's not like everyone's like watching kind of thing. So
See,
You beat Dean though.
yeah, I beat Dean once.
eventually.
Legitimately beat him.
I think if we did another 1v1 now, I think I could do a lot better. Better on the first, better than the first day. Sorry.
You know that's going to happen. You know it's going to happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
We're
Yeah.
gonna be doing some 1v1s.
I'll watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys like that's the thing they don't show is they all play like one game of like 8 people, and it's like
Right.
It's a really good idea because then like it blends everyone's skill levels in because then it's like teams or free for all kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's a lot different than what I'm used to. Like I play like tournament stages and like
Yeah. Yeah.
I play like real like competitively in the sense where it's like 1v1s and no like weird mechanics coming out or like
You don't play chaos environments all the time.
no, it's
What Josh is trying to say is that he could beat us if it was in a controlled one-on-one tournament style, which, by the way, we did, and I spiked him to his death off the side of the stage.
if we do it again, then I think I could beat Nico. Or I know I can beat him.
All right, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
I'll say this right now, though. I know exactly how you feel because when I was in the tournament, just as a throwaway person, they were like, "Oh, we need more people to be in this tournament." So here, go ahead, Matt.
Can we just get this going right now? Can we forget about the podcast?
We just get this going. I was super nervous though. I didn't think I would care that much, but like with everyone watching and stuff, it was like there's so much more pressure. Like it feels like a tournament.
Yeah.
You know, when you're there. So it's like
That's
there's
what
a
makes it so fun.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
can't
is-
wait to do this one because next time, mind you, I was also a super novice at Smash Bros. And now I'm a little bit better. So
You're decent. You're
I'm
decent, for sure.
decent enough.
You guys should have a summer tournament while I'm here, and then have another one at the end of the year.
Maybe we'll, if we get our work done early, we'll have maybe a little informal bracket.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
that would be super fun.
All
Order
right.
some
So, so Joshua, you're in town filming with us this week. I mean, what did you get? What are you guys working on? And I'd also like to hear just kind of I think, and everyone would like to hear a little bit of just about how you got started, like, and then you know what it's been like this week working on the video we've been putting together, and anything else really that you wanna chat about.
Actually, I think we should start with that question of where you got started, like how you got into effects. Oh, actually, sorry, real quick, just a little bit more context for everybody listening. Josh, you live up in Toronto. You are 23 years old.
23, yeah.
And Josh is basically, you know, he's doing it himself. You know, he just started doing visual effects on his own, and he's making his own thing. So it's not like we're talking to a guy who's hired by like a VFX studio right now. It's just a guy who's out there. It's like the internet. I got a computer. We make it happen. All right.
Yeah. Oh, it pretty much started from like watching you guys. Like I thought your videos were like the coolest videos. And like I tried a few times like making a full-time like YouTube video or like a full-length YouTube video, but it's like for one person to like plan, film, like get all the props and everything together, it takes a lot of time. And then like after you film it, you have to edit it, and it's like for one person, like a 2-minute video, 3-minute video can take you a month. So it's like I was kind of like hoping for the YouTube like route to work, but I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work with one person, unfortunately. And then like the years of like YouTube kind of like slowly getting into like more long term or like longer content and like less of short content. And I'm like, I don't think I could do this at all. So I'm like, oh, what's another way I could do it? So I'm like, oh, let's try doing like Instagram posts or like TikTok and stuff like that. So I'm like, let's think of something that can happen within 10 seconds. Make like not like a kind of a story to it, or like something people can relate to, or like a catchphrase or something like that. Like I have one where a tongue twister Like I'll say a tongue twister, and then afterwards my tongue is actually twisted and it
Yeah.
falls out. So it's like it's kind of like you can kind of put the two together, and like it's not just a random effect of like me standing there and then next thing I know I blow up or anything like that. I try to have like a little bit of like context to what's about to happen and stuff like that. So
The raison d'etre.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the thing I like a lot about your videos is how you subvert people's expectations about what's about to happen. Like
Yeah.
you really never know exactly what you're gonna do visually.
Yeah.
And that, when you're approaching these videos, like when you first started, was that kind of always the mindset? It's to kind of like,
Yeah, it's like it's funny because when I was looking online, everyone was making like satisfying renders and stuff like that. I'm like, nobody's making unsatisfying renders. Or like that weird kind of niche that like I know I'm not like I don't really like violence or anything like that. So it's like my videos are like there is a little bit of like I get chopped in half with a rake or something like that. But
I don't really like violence, but I do get split down the middle in one of my videos.
but it's like I'm not trying to do it in a gory way. I'm trying to do it in like a cartoony kind of like comic kind of way. Like it's the best way I describe what I do is like Looney Tunes in real life. Because like their physics are very messed up and like just things don't really work out, but they're kind of like cartoony. So it's like I do that for the example where I got cut in half with the rake. I use like a texture of a meat, like a steak, because I'm like, what else can I put in here that won't be too graphic, kind of thing. So I'm like, let's put a texture of a steak and go from there, kind of thing. But yeah, it's like when I started, it was like, let's try something different and like unexpected kind of thing. So it's like, let's call this series Expect the Unexpected kind of thing. And then I just started out making like these videos of like, okay, a tree can fall onto a house and break the house, or like the tree breaks off, but like what else could happen? Like what's the weirdest thing that could happen? Like, oh, what happens if it turns into like mud or liquid as soon as it hits the tree? It's like people are like, oh wait, that tree's about to fall, and then like, oh what?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It gives them like those emotions, like there's multiple emotions when it happens. And I think that's what like it kind of makes it work for me. Like I have people like really liking my content and like, oh, I get tons of shares. Like it's a lot of people are sharing my content and like sending it to their friends and stuff like that. And it's like, it's the coolest thing. People like sending it to their friends and then seeing the reactions of their friends once they're tagged. They're like, oh, this is gross. Why would you tag me in this and stuff like that. It's like, it's just funny. Like seeing this whole like community of people like sharing my work and getting these reactions from it.
I think that's kind of a niche that no one else was seeing, or not very many people were seeing before you started doing it, which is a lot of, you think about the standard user experience, right? On a platform such as Instagram, you're scrolling through, you know, there's a video, it starts auto playing, and immediately there's an expectation set. Right? Whether like a tree falling on a house. And normally what you'd see is a tree fall on somebody's house. And you'd watch it because holy crap, a tree just fell on this person's house. You don't see that every day. But then you immediately, like you said, shift the expectation upside down. And that also makes it really memorable because you may have seen, you know, and of course, once you watch one tree falling on a house video, Instagram's going to serve you 8 more because now it thinks you're like an arborist, right? And so, but that one you're going to remember more than the other ones because it was, you know, it flipped your expectations around. And I think you're naturally capitalizing on that, even if you may not have set out to necessarily perfect that. I think in what you're doing, you have done that.
Yeah, I didn't really have that in mind. It was more just like the surprise factor, kind of like have somebody watch the video and they'll be like, what's going on? Like, and then they have to rewatch it to kind of process it again. And then like after the third time, they're like, okay, we finally understand what's going on here. Yeah. And my favorite thing too is like on the way here, I came with my dad to California and like he's telling all his friends about me. And like I have to explain like to these like slightly older gentlemen and women like what I do. Yeah. So it's like I show them my Instagram and I never know the reaction I'm gonna get because like it's hard to like tell people what I'm doing to like an older generation. So I always like pull up my phone and like this is the video I made. I hope you like it. And then it shows me like like spinning around, like my top part of my body, like spinning around while my legs like stay one way. And they're like, oh, wow. But they're always laughing and they're always like, wow, this is really good. And then they always want to watch more. And it's like, these people are like 70 years old, 60 years old. And I'm like, wow, I'm even like tapping into like the older generation markets and like this content. It's honestly so cool.
Those
like,
elderly TikTokers. Yeah. Love them.
Dude,
it's
those
like
geriatric TikTokers.
Geriatric talks.
I know. I see you out there.
no, it's just so cool because like, I never knew like this content could be like accepted by so many people. I thought it was just going to be a very, very small niche like group of people. But the fact that I can like show it to pretty much anyone and they're like, wow, that's really good. Like, what program do you use? Is the main one. What app do you use or something like that?
Yeah, what one? So
that's my favorite. I get them all the time. It's like, what app do you use? And it's like
pretty big one.
Pretty big one.
It's named after a magician. No, I for one joke, I like to throw in jokes in my breakdown and stuff like that because for my breakdown videos, I'm not really trying to tell people how to do it. I'm just showing you kind of how I did it. So it's like, I'm not going to tell you step by step on each like step kind of thing. And at the end of one of my tutorials, I'm like, these are all the apps I use because everyone was asking. And I like had all the programs pop up and there was like 9 programs I had used for that video. And it's like each one popped up like Houdini, After Effects, Marvelous Design, Cinema 4D, and Octane, and all this stuff. And like just any of these apps, and you should be fine to make this thing. So, but
they're just 99 cents in the store, right?
Yeah, it's like you just buy
How
any
much?
apps. Right?
Wait, how much is Houdini in the App Store? How do I do this?
So I actually have a question about, so all this software, one of the things that makes your pieces stand out is the fact that you're doing some pretty high level CG work. It's lit well. It looks, the materials feel realistic. The lighting feels realistic. The physics feel realistic. So you're using Houdini for most of your work in terms of like your 3D generation and your physics, right?
Yeah.
And then you're rendering with Redshift, sometimes with Octane now, comping in After Effects. Like you have this whole pipeline, right?
Yeah.
So how did you initially pick up these programs? Like, how did you, like, when you were like, okay, I want to start learning visual effects, and you have a computer, I don't know, it has Math Blaster or something like that on it, and like, okay, I need to install something. What happened then? Like, how did you get the software?
Yeah, the first one was just Movie Maker, like Windows Movie Maker. I think everyone's used that program before. I found a tutorial on how to make a muzzle flash where like you get the frame you want to have it. You take out the one frame as like a PNG, and then you paint on a muzzle flash in like Photoshop or something like that, or even Paint.
Oh, man.
Paint was what we did, and then you save that frame, and then you put it back in the video. And then you shrink that frame to be as short as possible. So it's like it goes from the video to that one frame, and then it goes back to the video, and it looks like you have a muzzle flash kind of in it. Wow. And I remember watching a tutorial, and then like after a week, I made my own tutorial of the exact same effects. And for some reason, it just like blew up and got like 10,000 views in like a month. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I had like this whole thing where I wanted to like make a like skit around this whole like Movie Maker muzzle flash thing. But after you do like 5 of them, you're like, I don't really want to do this anymore. It's like, this isn't that fun. So I tried, my brother and I were working on a video in our backyard, and we needed like a sniper scope, and you couldn't do like overlays in Movie Maker yet. So it's like, I found Sony Vegas to be a program where you can have like layers to add stuff. So I found like a PNG of a sniper scope, put it on Sony Vegas, and then animated the position and the rotation and all that stuff to like move around like a sniper scope and like follow the person. And I started with Sony Vegas too because like I looked at After Effects and it's like all the like everything on the sides and the front. I'm like, no, I don't want to learn this. Like that is way too advanced for like me at any, like I don't want to do that. So I did Sony Vegas, and then after like 4 months using Sony Vegas, just kind of doing like the odd video kind of thing, I'm like, let's try it. So I found this tutorial on how to make an intro in After Effects. So I got After Effects, like the demo, made this intro, rendered it out. It was 10 gigabytes, the file that I rendered out. Because like it was like 8 seconds
animation.
Yeah, it was like 8 seconds of just no compression, like perfect quality. And I think it was like the 480 by like something else too. It wasn't even like the full 1080 at the time. It was just
tiny,
huge file. And I started fooling around with After Effects.
So quick question for you. When you're like, okay, Movie Maker's cool, and you find Vegas like through Google searching, where you're like, Mom, for my birthday, I want Sony Vegas, the editing software. Like, is that how it went, or did you pirate it? Like, how did you end? Like, how did you make that jump?
Tell us.
Sony Vegas? No, I actually bought Sony Vegas. You could buy Sony Vegas.
It's okay to pirate when you're really young and trying to learn software. I'm just gonna say it's okay. It's totally
we
fine.
don't do it anymore.
No, in Sony Vegas, I actually bought it because you can go to the store and you can buy like the box version of it, and I think it was like 130 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
back before, I don't even know if Sony Vegas is still a thing or if it's like a subscription thing or what it is.
I think it's still go to this Best Buy and get it in a box for $130.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
Yeah, so I bought Sony Vegas for the first thing, and then when I switched over to After Effects, I tried the trial, which I think it was 30 days, and it was actually Freddie who mentioned it in one of his videos where he was like, you can just restart the trial every time it becomes the end. It's like you can make like a new email or whatever it was, and then you could just start over the 30-day trial again. So I did that for a bit, and then I'm like, this probably isn't it. So I just cracked it. I found out like there's a whole like place on YouTube where you can find like cracks to these like video stuff. So I ended up cracking that, and then watching these guys, I saw them using 3ds Max. So I'm like, oh, I got to try 3ds Max. And with 3ds Max, you can actually download like a student version of it, which is like for 4 years, you get it for free. You just have to be a student. I mean, I kind of faked the being a student part.
I think you can literally just sign up as long as you type in your name, like and the university email address. They don't even send you the email to like register it.
I was in high school at this time. Like
Joshua's University.
That's ended .edu and you're good.
No, I was in high school. So I mean, like I was in school, but like not in the right kind of school, I guess. But I used that for a while. And watching these guys, I just tried like Rayfire and Fume Effects.
Oh, cool.
Those might have been cracked. Those ones are a little bit expensive. So
Well, I'm really curious about this because I think this is a story that everybody who's into visual effects when they're young has to go through, which is you're sitting there on the sidelines and you have your apps on your phone and you got, your like Windows Movie Maker, and it's like, okay, I want to start doing this stuff. But like, there isn't really that step, like that easy, like, okay, well, here's the program. Here's After Effects for kids. Like there isn't anything like that. It's like, well, I guess I have to figure out how to get After Effects, which is going to cost me $1,000 a year, or whatever it is, $600 a year if you want the full suite of, Adobe. So it's like, how do you make that jump? And back in my day, it was you went and you pirated it, And
yeah, definitely.
And I don't know, like, we got a little over 10 years between us in terms of age, and I don't know what your experience is like. Sounds like it hasn't changed much, but I think that's almost like a barrier to entry. Is like before you can figure out how to do visual effects, you have to figure out how to crack these really unique pieces of software that are so specialized.
Hi guys, this might look a little funny. It certainly feels funny because I'm upside down, but I gotta tell you about today's sponsor, Storyblocks, because what they can do for you is gonna turn your world upside down. Storyblocks is the complete stock solution for creators and businesses alike. Storyblocks is constantly adding new content to their site and updating it to give you the best experience possible. They've got amazing unlimited libraries of high quality 4K clips, B-roll, motion graphics, After Effects templates, and more, all constantly being updated and worked on all the time. Through their unlimited all access plan, anything you get from Storyblocks you can use in whatever you want, however you want, royalty free. We use Storyblocks all the time over here at Corridor Digital because it's a great tool in our creative toolkit. And if you're interested in making your videos better, faster, more efficient, just head on over to storyblocks.com/corridorcast to get started. That's storyblocks.com/corridorcast. I hope this information turned your world upside down. Ow, my arms hurt. Ugh. Oh God, okay. Whew.
Well, there's another thing. There's another thing going on here too, and it's not only just the, beg, borrow, and steal the software however you can get it, but it's also that you didn't have a desire to move on from Windows Movie Maker until you found the limitation of it.
Right.
Right. You have this, you started with what you had, which was a Windows operating system with Windows Movie Maker in the operating system. And then you're like, okay, well, this thing says it can edit movies together. So, and it's here and I can open it. So let me give it an MP4 file and see what happens. Right. And then it's like, oh, you can't do layers. In order to put one image on top of another, you need to do layers. So what do you do? And then you find a program that can do layers, and then you work your way through a series of Whoa, what happened?
He's just your
my headphones disconnected from my phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm back.
you just your voice jumps to the seat next to us. It's almost like Jake was here with us the whole time.
But then you go to a layered program like After Effects, and then what happens after that? You find the limitation of what you can do in After Effects. You move to a node-based program and
I was like, oh, I need a third dimension.
Right.
Yeah.
And After Effects is like,
Where's
here,
my
click
Z?
this button. Yeah. Click this button. It'll make it 3 dimensions. It's fine.
There's an app for that for sure.
Look, we have the axes gizmo,
Yeah.
XYZ. It's like, yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so you just kind of kept working your way through software. Then, like, when did you go, like, all right, I'm just going to jump into Houdini? Like, when did that happen?
I quit 3ds Max because the program, like, you could think about your life every time the program starts up. It takes so long to like actually open up, and like just looking at the black screen, you just really reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
And you get to do that a lot because
Yeah,
the program
like,
crashed all the time.
That program is very, very slow. But I went to school, and for school I wanted to go like just to visual effects because it's like I knew I wanted to do this for a while now. But for every school that I was looking at, they're like, you have to have at least 3 years, 2 years in filmmaking, and I'm like, I kind of already know how to do this. Can I like kind of skip it? So I went to the orientation. They told me no, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome, guys. Like I really, really appreciate that. But I went to the first year film. I'm like, okay, let me just try it. So I went to a 2-year program, and after the first year of like filmmaking and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't think this is it. Like I know this stuff. This is costing me a lot of money. I think I can do this on my own. And I'm like, screw it, let's try it kind of thing. And then afterwards, I thought if I want to do it on my own, then I'm definitely going to have to learn like the highest program to have like the most chance of getting in. So I'm like, Houdini is the one that everyone's been using for like these Marvel films and like these big blockbuster films. So I'm like, let's try learning Houdini. So it's like I downloaded it, found like a tutorial, and like it's very confusing in the beginning. Like there's so many like there's like so many folders within folders. Like there's SOP, DOP, SWOPs, and like all these different like layers to it. And I remember like watching the tutorial, and like I was on like another like inside one of the folders, and I didn't realize that there's only so many nodes inside each folder. So I'm trying to type in what he's typing in on his, but I didn't realize he was on like the top part of the folder, and it just kind of screwed me up like the whole time. I'm like typing in the message or in the comments like, hey man, like how do you do this? Like I'm already stuck on this like my first day. But he didn't reply. I scratched the tutorial and found another tutorial, and I kind of figured out, okay, this is how this works now. And then from there it's like just watching tutorials. Like sandcastles was my first thing. Lego explosion, like in like the Lego movies where the explosions build up. That was a big effect that I liked as well. And at first it was more of like just doing the effects kind of just in the program and rendering them out, and not really compositing them with like real life footage or anything like that. And then afterwards, I can't remember my first idea. Like my first idea for my Unexpected series was having a log turn into water. So it's like someone's going down to light the fire, and then once they get the match in, the log turns into water and it kind of splashes down. And it was like, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to light this? How am I going to comp this all in? And that's kind of where I figured out my workflow. And I realized the renderer in Houdini was a little bit slower. And it was its Mantra is the renderer in Houdini natively. But I'm like, let me try Redshift. So I downloaded Redshift and then used Redshift for it. And seem to work like super fast. Like I've never seen like a GPU render that fast. So I tried that. I was able to do my first ever comp with the log and spilling down, brought it back into After Effects, did the compositing, and now it is one of my favorites too, because it's like one of my first ones. So like it has a little like special spot in my little heart that like, hey, this is my first scene of like full CG with Houdini After Effects and like rendered it out. And then ever since then, I've been just getting better and better, finding out tips on stuff like that. So
now, did that hit right away, or what was the first video that you made that really was like, oh, okay, if I keep doing this, I'll get even more views.
Yeah,
I should continue to do this.
Good question.
There was a few videos I did that were like kind of getting a traction, but like nothing. Like I didn't like just have one video that did super well.
Oh.
It was like my first video that ever did well was I made this video with windmills, and they're like spinning, but like they're what do you want to call them, props or propellers or whatever they are, were like kind of warped. And it was like, it was funny when I posted it on Reddit. I posted on like all the like the trippy and like LSD and like all those like weird pages, and people are like, what's happening here? And like the amount of people thought it was like the shutter speed like problem, like when you like filming a helicopter and you have the same like shutter speed as like the prop spinning, and it like looks like it's just still. So it's like this warping thing, and people kept thinking it was that. So like everybody shared it and like, oh, this is real. And a bunch of people were like, no, this is clearly CG. Like you can see it.
Those people were on acid though, to be fair.
So it was like this whole group of people are like, and it was the first time I've ever experienced like people like, no, this is real. And it's like, no, this is definitely fake. And then I'm like, I love this. Like this is definitely like fooling people is like my favorite thing. So I just kept going. I didn't really have a big hit after that for a while. And then I'm thinking, I think I had 3 videos in a row that did super well. I had one where I was blowing a balloon and then I popped instead of the balloon. And then right after I did the rake video where I step on the rake and it splits me in half. And then the third one was I was in the bus stop and I inflated. It was like with those 3 like back to back, I think those like really pushed like my content in front of a bunch of people. And like people were like, wow, this guy makes really good videos. And then like I kind of went down for a bit, and then now I'm on the rise up, I guess. But but yeah, it's been a really weird trip, and it's like even with my last video did like super well. Like I posted it and I didn't feel the best about it. It was like, this is a very rushed one. I'm like, I don't really want to do like soft bodies anymore. Like I wanted to take a break and maybe try something else. But I'm like, I'll just finish this video, put it out, and then go on from there. So I put it out, and it's just me playing baseball, and when I swing the bat and miss the ball, like my top part of my body just spins around, and then it gets stuck facing the wrong way, and then I'm like walking back and forth with like my chest and my head facing behind me and my legs in front of me kind of thing. And for some reason Reels on Instagram just like pushed it like crazy. And it's like it's at 35 million views, like 1.7 million likes, and my followers like pretty much like doubled or almost like tripled, to be quite honest. So it's like I'm almost at 100,000 now instead of just being at like 30 where I was before it. So it's nuts. Like it's every time you open up the Instagram app, it's like you get notification and it's like 100 kind of thing. And I was like, wow, this is, and it was for like 2 weeks straight too. That was the interesting part about it. So I was like, wow, is this gonna slow down, or like when's this gonna slow down? But yeah, it was a pretty cool ride. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you gotten to a point with any of your videos yet where you go, hey, I know that one, I did it and it was successful, and I should probably do another one, but I don't want to do it because I already did it? Like artistically, have you gotten to that point?
To be quite honest, I try not to do. It's like, since I don't have anything, like I'm pretty much in charge of what I make. Like I don't really have anyone telling me what to make yet. I have like people's comments saying like, "Oh man, I'm sick of this effect," or "Do something different," or something like that. But it's like I'm enjoying it, so it's like I think that's all that matters to me. Is like, this is my page, and it's kind of like my portfolio now, or it's turned into my portfolio or a resume kind of thing. But it's like, I'm just making the stuff I feel like making, because like I feel like that's what this whole creative thing should be about. Is like, once you get into the point where you're like making stuff for the viewers, then it's less creative and more work kind of feel to it. Which, I mean, like I understand if you want like longevity or something like that, you kind of have to turn towards more what the viewers like and stuff like that. But like for right now, it's like I'm having the most fun just making like the weirdest thing that can come to mind and executing it and then posting it. And it's like, it seems like a lot of people like that too. So it's kind of a blessing really that I can just make whatever I feel like and get a really good reaction from it. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear different people's like journeys on how they get started, because they're all the same, but they're all a little bit different, you know. And so yeah, because I remember when I first came on board with Sam and Nico, like we were constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, like every week. It was, you know, and it was good because we learned a ton, right? But it was also like an insane upstream. We were like those salmon, you know. You're just like, look, I know there's a spawn point up there. I'm gonna die on my way up to it, but come hell or high water, I'm gonna get there. And it was constantly upstream. And it wasn't until we started to like get more experienced at just the process that we started to see like, oh, well, hey, maybe, you know, if you do this or you turn this way, then it's, you know, the stream you're not fighting uphill as much all the time. And you can start to use some of like your library and your resume, if you say your portfolio, to your advantage.
Yeah. And also that you're talking about, you know, like your baseball bat swinging video where you spin around and how that, you know, is blown up and has 35 million views. And that moment when you start to see everything kind of grow and it all takes a big step forwards, you know, and some people have the overnight success where like they really blow up, but most people, you know, it's you work at it, it bumps, and then you get a big bump. And it's like, whoa, that's cool. And then you kind of keep working at it and bumps, and then it happens again. And like, as you keep working at it and those big bumps continue to stack up, like you find yourself really with like a growing number of people that like your work and, you know, your audience is growing. You know, hearing you talk about like that process and going through those experiences, like, you know, it takes me back to like when we were doing that with Corridor and like working through those steps. And like, we still like, it doesn't go away. Like you're always building, you're always growing because, you know, part of you is always becoming, I guess for lack of a better word, irrelevant, right? Like things are, you know, you've made your art, it's been consumed, and then it kind of starts to fade. And not everything fades, you know, but like some things start to move to the background. Likes, you know, people's tastes change, what they like changes, society changes, like the messages that people want, you know, that they attach to themselves to, and your art changes. And so you're always changing too. And of course you're growing, you know, people don't sit still. And so, you know, even if like something popped long ago, managing to still find that magic again and to find a way to connect with people again, it's always very thrilling when it happens and doesn't really ever go away in terms of like that thrill. But, you know, you brought up you mentioned one other thing, which I wanted to ask you about. So, you know, you mentioned doing something for yourself versus like what the audience asks for. And, you know, there's certainly like a spot in the middle there where it's like, you're not going to be super successful if you only make things for yourself and no one else likes it. But also, you don't really want to listen to the person who doesn't like your stuff and is just kind of crapping on it. It's like, come on, why don't you do this? Like, you don't want to take your cues from that person. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to fine. I'll have to change it. You know, it's like, they don't have your best interests in mind. But you know, it's like, yeah. But so Josh, like, you know, when you're making your stuff, like how much do you think about, you know, the audience and other people watching that? Like how much does that factor in to your inspiration?
Like I just do it like because I enjoy doing it. Like this stuff is like a lot of fun to me. Like I love problem solving. So like when you think of a concept, you have to think of like, okay, how are you gonna film it? What's the best way of filming it? It's like, how am I gonna, okay, if I film this way, how is it gonna work when I edit it? And then like once I get it in After Effects, how am I gonna bring it into 3D and stuff like that? So it's like it's a big like puzzle that you have to do each time. And it's like, it's similar enough each time, but sometimes it's different. And that's like the best part about this whole thing. So it's like, I love just getting that feeling of doing it. And it's like, every time I post the video, it's like, I'm super excited to see how people take it. But I usually don't try to take it too much to heart of like, okay, this video doesn't do well. It's like my favorite videos are the ones that don't perform. Like Like my recent video, the one before where I'm on the swing and I flip over and like hit the top bar of it, that was like one of my favorites because it's like it took me so much time to figure out how to do each step of it. And I was like, okay, how am I gonna get the chain to work, the seat to work, my body, and then clothes and then hair all to work together kind of thing. So it was a big like process, and like took me a lot of like thinking and like Googling and stuff like that, which was kind of stressful, but like you also enjoy it a little bit. It's a weird spot where like you enjoy it, and then like once you get it, you're like, wow, this feels really good. And then once you post it, it's like it's free for everyone to see kind of thing, and like you can hope people react to it the same way you feel about it, but like you can never really like gauge if that's going to be the situation or not. But for me, it's like these people that tell me like, oh, do this kind of thing. It's like, I'd rather not right now, because I am enjoying this like stuff a lot the way I'm doing it. And it's like, I'm able to do a bunch of like stuff outside of my thing, that like freelancing and stuff like that, where people see my original ideas and they're like, man, we love your videos. Like, can you do anything like that for us, for whatever the opportunity is in that? So it's like, I know there's a big market for people that like my stuff for like branding and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm looking at my videos too, and it's like most of them are getting some pretty decent amount of views. So like brands could reach out and like make brand videos, and like these videos perform well. So it's like, maybe these will be what brands want later in the future kind of thing. Like it's right now, I'm not too worried about like the actual like long term, like making this a job kind of thing. I'm more of like, I'm just doing this for fun and seeing kind of where it takes me. Like I'm sitting on a seat with Corridor right now, and it's like it seems to be working quite fine, I guess. Like it seems to be working out, but no, it's honestly, I just enjoy it so much. Like I think about it all the time, like what's the next idea, and like what's something that like might be close to something that someone's seen before, but like different, or like what's something people can relate to but it's different. So it's, I don't know, I just really enjoy doing this stuff. So
well, if you're thinking about it that much and you're enjoying it that much, then you know, usually when those things are happening and people are seeing it and enjoying it as well, then it has a tendency to find its way into, you know, creating a path for you to continue to do it. So yeah, that's, I think your mindset's in the right place, you know, for where you're at with it. Cause, yeah, you know, you're 23. So that's a good spot to be with the decisions of, hey, let me just get better at this. Let me just make it more how I want it to be. Let me enjoy it, and then let it sort of land. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and I'm learning a lot, like, too, during the process. Like, I'm interacting with companies and stuff like that, and, like, figuring out what companies do like and stuff like that. But it's more like, yeah, it's... I wanted to not think of it as a job yet. Like, I just want it to be, like, for fun. Like, they're just videos
I think
that
really
I'm making.
hard to do when you're young.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like, I think, or I know, I have a really good feeling that this stuff is going to work out for me, like in the future. Like it's just with the amount of people seeing it and like liking it and like the opportunities I've already gotten and stuff like that. So it's like right now I just want to enjoy it. Like it's like, I just want to make videos, post them, see how people think. And like, I try different things. Like I'll make a tutorial the odd time, or I'll make breakdown videos. It's just exploring this whole like visual effects kind of area. And it's, I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, no, super cool. I mean, like, you know, like worst comes to worst, you can just go get a job for any VFX company doing Houdini work. Like, you're fine.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
good. You're done.
Yeah.
Your starting point is at a good spot right
That
now.
foot is well in the door. Yeah, you got that one.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to become a lawyer if Corridor fails. What I'm gonna do?
yeah. Dude, I still think about that frequently. Like, how fortunate I am not to have to like go and work like an hourly, you know, grind.
Yeah.
Like at this point in my life, you know, I've been able to build up to a spot where I'm settled doing something I enjoy doing. It takes some work to get there, but It's nice once you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Josh, you talked about coming into Corridor after having like watched videos of it, and not to talk about ourselves, but like I'm going to. I'm always curious.
It's our podcast, Joshua. Okay?
I'm always curious, like, so you've watched us online and then you actually met us.
Yeah.
How did those compare? What, column A online version of us versus like column B real life version of us?
Well, besides the actual space, like the space here is a lot smaller than what they show on the videos. Like the rooms are much shorter and like it's more packed together. Like they make it like see like it's a big hall or like a big room, but it's not as big as it seems on the. Yeah, it's not as big as it is on the videos. But besides that, like meeting everyone here on the first day was really nice. Like we sat down on Monday and we all talked and like figured out like what everyone was doing the week, and we told like future projects and stuff like that. And it's like it felt really nice like meeting everyone, and like I got introduced to everyone, and then I got sat down beside Ren, and Ren just kind of like talked to me for like 2 hours straight of just like visual effects stuff, and like the project I was working on, I was kind of showing him, and he was giving me some like tips and stuff like that. And it's really nice like talking to someone that's very knowledgeable about visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a lot of the time, like the people I'm talking to either have very little or like not enough to be kind of on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'd rather talk to someone that like knows more than me just so I can learn.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love talking to anybody about visual effects. Don't get me wrong, but it's like sometimes it's really refreshing to talk to someone that really knows a lot. So when I was talking to Ren, it was like, this is really nice. Like it was like we were just talking about like the most nerdy visual effects things out there, but it's like it means so much to me. And then we played Smash a bit. Like I got to meet Sam and Nico. They came in and like shook my hand like right away as soon as they came in. That was super cool. Same with Ren and stuff like that. And yeah, meeting Matt, Nat, and everyone else. It was really cool. Like these guys are really nice. Like they're pretty much exactly like they are in the videos.
Great. That's a great read. We'll have your check sent. I really appreciate that.
No, it's like you guys are really nice. Like when we were filming yesterday, it felt like you're filming with a bunch of friends. Like, like the one person films and like you're all laughing and like everyone's kind of like peeking over the guy filming and like checking the playback of the like last recording. You're like, is this good? And you're like, yeah, this is good. And then like you're making up stuff as you go and stuff like that. I think that's like the best part about filmmaking is like keeping it fun and like makes you realize like how fun this kind of is and like how cool it is to have friends and stuff like that with this like filmmaking stuff. So it's like for the past year and a half, I've been doing it by myself pretty much. Like I've got my, I probably should give a shout out to my sister Tanya for doing like all my filming.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She's been doing all the filming with my stuff, and it's so funny because like I bought like the DJI Ronin and my camera and all this, but she probably knows more of the settings than me now because like she's been the one filming all my videos and stuff like that. So like I really appreciate her and like everyone in my family that helps me with the filming. It's really, really cool that they help me out and support me as much as they do. But
oh, by the way, speaking of filming, we filmed our first Corridor short in a very long time yesterday, and you were on the set for that.
Yeah, no, it was.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, we had to walk up a hill. And
You did have to walk up a hill.
I don't know why they made me carry like the heaviest thing too.
That's your initiation. You have to. I had to. You have
No,
to.
it was. It's like I'm from Canada, obviously, so it's like a little bit cooler than it is here. So it's like
it's not
carrying the heaviest thing plus it being uphill, and like it was just so hot.
Yeah,
it was just like as soon as I got to the top of the hill, I'm like,
It's kind of gnarly yesterday.
yeah. Jordan had water right ready for everybody, so I was like able to drink water and stuff like that. And yeah, no, it was a lot of fun filming with you guys yesterday and seeing how you guys do it and stuff like that. No, I really enjoyed that.
I guess we could spoil what the video's about.
Yeah.
Should we?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cat. It's the
For anyone
podcast
listening.
for.
Yeah, the podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to the
These
are the
podcast.
Trutons.
Trutons get to know everything. Everything gets spoiled on the True Town podcast.
True. Once it gets huge, we'll stop spoiling stuff. But
First of all, real quick, a little bit of perspective on this. I didn't know that we were shooting this until Monday because we didn't come up with it until Monday. You wrote it on Monday.
Yeah, so we were doing Son of a Dungeon last week, and I don't remember how it came up. It was probably just some little thing we were riffing on.
we were joking about it in the green room.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
And then I go and I'm standing on the green screen, and like I'm waiting for like a shot to happen. So my mind's wondering like, what would that look like? I kind of start playing a little video in my head, and basically the concept is, you see all those dumb commercials that challenge your masculinity to be like, soap for men, shampoo for men,
Shaving cream for men.
shaving cream for men,
Barbies for men.
perfume for men.
Men's
pick
underwear for men.
yeah. And so we're like, hell yeah, lightsabers for men. Like, how could you overly masculinize a lightsaber and then package it in a video with somebody just like ragging on you for all your decisions? Like, Mace Windu's purple lightsaber. Like, that's a huge transgression in this world of like masculine lightsabers. And just the idea too, like, visual effects, like lightsabers have a very, very, very standardized way of looking. It's always just a hyper, like, RGB style tube laser. So it's like, what if you made it look really ugly? Like, what if you had an olive drab, lightsabers? Or, what is it? Call of Duty brown is my favorite joke. Call of Duty brown.
Or bear fur.
Yeah.
All kinds of fun things.
Reclaimed wood.
I like how in this universe Call of Duty is masculine.
Hell yeah, it is.
Call of Duty's hella masculine.
So masculine.
If there's like one game that sums up toxic masculinity, it's Call of Duty.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I gotta mute people in that game.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So, and the thing is, we haven't shot a corridor video in a long time. We did the cutscene, or rather Sam did like 95% of it, but we didn't technically shoot it.
Yeah, it didn't feel the same.
It was it was an animated piece. And so, it was nice to be like, what? Screw it. Let's just go shoot this. It's easy. It's like two people standing against some trees. We can do that. We haven't shot a video in like 2 years, but we can do that. And it was, it was also like the quick, casual kind of fun setting this a good like warm up to get back into it. You don't want to go out there and be like, all right, now I need like my 5 actors and my 2 costume changes and my grip team. Like,
yeah, I mean, the last thing that we shot was when we were in Texas and we did the Black Rifle commercial, and then we did the tactical 3 loads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the last like big pieces that we've shot. And so with
tactical 3 loads
and,
was like in the spring of 2020, and then we had the Dominoes video.
Spring, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And
But
You
yeah.
Monster.
Yeah, we had You Monster
That was
too.
before we shot that in November.
Yeah.
We held on that one.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that like we are starting to turn on those fires again, because like that's what keeps you sharp.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
It's just like here's a random, like, I've never shot this type of video before, but I'm just gonna go with what we have and shoot it and make it work, and it keeps you sharp.
I mean, a lot of corridor videos are us pretending to make a different style of video, but for you to pretend to make, like, say, a Jason Bourne fight scene, it has to look like a Jason Bourne fight scene. So you end up having to study how to make a Jason Bourne fight scene. And even though yours isn't necessarily like, when you go and make your own, it's not necessarily as good as an actual fight scene from Jason Bourne. If it's decent, you still just went and did all that practice, which has just made you a bit of a better filmmaker. Even if you don't shoot any more Jason Bourne fight scenes, you understand. Ideally, you've taken away some of the positives of like that style of filmmaking that you can apply to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, we had to order a lot of men's soap and just like shower with it a lot.
Just shower with it. That's it.
Just really immerse ourselves in the masculine.
We had to watch sad movies.
Smells.
Never Cried First. Had to wasn't allowed on set anymore.
Yeah.
Whoever cried
That's
last
right,
got
yeah.
to be the main character.
I watched Titanic 3 times. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for a video in like a week or two
Yep.
with a
And
bunch
then
of
we
goofy
got,
lightsaber effects.
Dubstep Guns 2 got greenlit.
Dubstep Guns 2 got greenlit. Yes.
Ooh, baby.
The washed up Sam and Nico get called on and they have to go get the squad back together.
Yep. Yeah, I threw on some really early ideas with Mike, and we'll get together. We'll do like a real brainstorm soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to go hard with those VFX though on that video.
yeah, I'm scared.
Because
Yeah.
well, I mean, you can't. It has to be better in terms of visual
Yeah.
effects than the first one.
Don't put that pressure on me.
You were the one who wanted to put it up on Greenlight, dude.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be better in many ways than just the visual effects. I feel like
Well, yeah.
here's the thing: the first one was just kind of a music video, and while
It's true.
this will probably have some of that, you know, I think the reality is, you know, the first one was kind of just a music video because back then we weren't quite skilled enough filmmakers to have actual talking on screen and have it be compelling.
You want him to say what?
You know, it's just us doing the acting back then. I guess we still do a bunch of acting on our stuff these days, but like, I like to feel like we've grown as filmmakers. So now we can actually have dialogue scenes and like put some story into it and have the reason it's good not just be because we like killed ourselves doing visual effects for like way too many hours a day.
No,
you know,
obviously, yeah. There's got to be some dramatics, you know, some drama to it and some story.
definitely. Yep.
Are you guys gonna
Yeah.
use like modern dubstep now? Like if before you
It's a
used
good
like
question.
dubstep, that was a big thing back then, but now it's like not as
I
big
mean,
as it was.
That is a legitimately good question.
That's the joke of the video. Is it's like, yes, it is. Yes, dubstep's just as cool as it was 10 years ago.
There's still one club like in our city that plays authentic dubstep. That's the
Yeah.
one place. That's where you can always find Sam on like a Saturday night at that club. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. But I mean, I love the idea of building this really dumb but funny world around this whole thing. Which is honestly why I'm excited to go back to it. But there is the idea. I don't know if I feel like we can work it in. One thing I'm worried about doing, like, one thing I'm worried about saying, sorry, the one thing that makes me pause when talking about creative ideas on the podcast sometimes or anywhere is when it's a simpler idea that can just be done. And somebody goes, oh, well, I'll just do that. And they just go out and do it, you know? Whether or not it was by coincidence, and we weren't necessarily going to do this, but that happened with Mr. Beast and the Uber ride. Where he talked about like this is old. This is like 4 years ago.
That was not coincidence.
Mr. Beast. What is the Mr. Beast Uber ride thing?
We happened to have a connection that had like I don't know, something like 30,000 miles of Uber credit because just from something. And we're like, what if we just ordered an Uber to go from California to New York? Literally to go across the United States, an Uber trip. The guy shows up, he's like,
You get in the car.
yeah, because this is what we were laughing about in that old San Nico video. The fact that it was called the San Nico channel was like the idea of getting, because as an Uber driver, you don't know the destination, I guess, until you pick them up.
Oh, sure.
So he's like, oh, yeah, all right. He goes and he hits it. He's like, all right, let's see the destination. It's like it doesn't show up on his phone. He's like, wait, and he zooms out. It's like, oh, you're going to New York. It's like, yeah, I hope you brought some spare clothes. If you want to run by your house, that's
The
cool.
Empire State Building.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're gonna be in this car together for
Yeah, we
about
brought some
35
snacks
hours.
and some THC gummies if you want to get in on it.
Exactly. So we laughed about it and we're like, should we do it? Should we make this video? And all of us were like, I don't really want to sit in a freaking Uber car
Yeah.
with a guy for like.
Well, Mr. Beast did
But
apparently.
Mr. Beast did it.
Yeah.
Like 2 months later, he did.
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, like 2 months later. It's
Yeah.
like
Wow.
very, very close to when we made our video talking about it. So, you know, I'm not that upset because like I wasn't gonna do it and he did it.
I'm glad he did it because we would
Yeah.
never have, and somebody had to do it, and he was definitely the right person to do it.
For
And I can
sure.
respect him for doing it too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the question, I don't know if he actually did it. Just putting that out there. 'Cause I heard there's actually some things in Uber's software that keeps you from doing those kind of rides, but I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like,
we're going to Anchorage.
no, but seriously,
Anchorage.
okay. Let me. Actually, I don't have. I deleted Uber off my phone because I.
What's
I'll
the
try it
most,
on, like- I'll
what's
try
the
it on,
most
like, Lyft or
remote
something.
Yeah.
location from San Diego to like Nova Scotia?
No, I'll do it right
Like-
now. I'm going to enter Empire State Building into my phone.
You going on Lyft?
Lyft. I'm doing Lyft.
Yeah.
Empire State Building. There we go. 355th Avenue from downtown LA. Oh, I can get a standard Lyft. Limited availability. Gets me there by 9:36 a.m.
Limited
Limited availability.
Oh, trip exceeds maximum lift fare.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
Okay.
But they do give me a time estimate if that hypothetical lift were to happen.
Well, maybe 4 years ago things were different with Uber, and you could hypothetically.
Oh, man.
I mean,
book a
let's see.
ride.
Can I go to Las Vegas?
I think you can go. I thought I talked to an Uber
it's just,
guy.
it immediately puts me into like the whole like they actually have a thing for shuttling people from
Oh, okay.
LA to Vegas, so it immediately popped me over to that.
Okay.
Never mind. Anyways,
This
Yeah,
has
back
happened
then they hadn't-
This has
they hadn't done
happened
that yet.
before to them.
it might-
Sounds like.
well, I haven't. Mr. Beast did it. They're like, oh, we should figure something out. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways,
We should go
well,
to Europe and get one from like, you know, Paris to like
London?
whatever the most remote location in Siberia we can find.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But wait,
I'll do it.
Kamcha-
I'll do it. I don't care.
From Paris to Kamchatka, that little peninsula that comes off of Russia.
that might be tough because we'd be crossing international boundaries.
It's
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, in the U.S. we just have this
Just
one
tell
big
them it's
old
just
country.
tell them it's for a video. They'll get it. I'm sure they'll understand.
Yeah.
Just put it on your passport. We're YouTubers.
Like, you heard of YouTube? It's like, yeah, I know YouTube.
Foreign
We don't
countries
get to do
love
this.
YouTubers, right?
It's like the novelty wore off 5 years ago, guys. Yeah.
You go to China, you're like, we're YouTubers. They're like, what?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm
But
pretty
what
sure
we
they
know
know.
though is that dubstep guns can only be made by Corridor. So
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. So I was gonna throw out some really funny ideas for dubstep guns, but I'm actually gonna hold on to those.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to even bring it up.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna talk about them.
Gosh dang it.
But it's just to say it's a really cool idea, and you wish you knew what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Well, you guys got a video to finish.
indeed, yeah,
How'd the edit go? Did you edit it through yet?
yeah, we have an
Yeah.
assembly of it.
Yeah. Matt's like we finished the assembly. Matt's kind of just doing a Matt special, and then I'm gonna do a Nico special, and then we'll lock it,
Cool.
and that'll
So
be that.
does Joshua have like a special effect in this video or?
Yeah, I told
you did.
them I'm great at soft bodies and like any kind of dynamic stuff. And they're like, let's give you a hair simulation. It's like nothing that I usually do, but it's cool. I've done like a little bit of hair, so it's like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I been just fooling around making a bear hairy lightsaber.
Hairy lightsaber.
For bear pelt.
Yeah, bear fur or
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's I just got it almost looks like a cat tail.
Nice.
And it's just Sam waving it around, yelling at the camera kind of things.
Sounds
There's
about
a
right.
lot of that in this video, by the
There's
way.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's been a long. We need some Sam yelling at the camera. It's been way too long.
I saw the outfit you guys put on him. I'm glad he took his hair down for this and didn't
Oh,
do
yeah.
the man
Yeah.
bun.
Just
It's funny, like the outfit he actually wore. I didn't realize he was in costume until we were on set.
yeah.
I didn't, Sam was like, that's just what he wore for the day.
Wear this stuff.
It was just like entirely normal attire.
Yeah.
But letting the hair down really like brought it all
Oh
together.
yeah. And when you put him in the woods setting, it looks like you actually found him in the woods. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's really perfect.
The one
He
shot with
lives-
the tree stump as well.
Yeah, he's standing on it.
Yeah, that's we should put that in.
My life was falling apart when I started this
It's
company.
really funny.
Oh, you guys didn't put that in?
it's-
Or you
it's
guys
going
haven't
in.
made it in?
It's in now. I
yeah.
put it in. Yeah. We gotta work out a couple of things for that, but we'll talk about that after
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Music stuff and like
Yeah.
just general vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, watch commercials a little bit more. Do some like punches.
Yeah, you got to do a little bit of Sasquatch research.
Yeah,
Dr.
Yeah.
Squatch. One of
Dr.
those.
Squat and do some punch-ins. Don't forget your punch-ins.
Punch-ins, absolutely.
I mean, I already added 2 in my little sequence, so
Okay.
there's
Don't
many
forget
more
your-
to come.
Your punch zooms and your punch-ins.
Oh, we have organic ones. We have artificial ones. Combinations.
Make
of the
sure
two.
you put
Got
that
shaky
real fake,
cam.
that real
Or
fake
the-
camera shake on there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Earthquake cam is what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah. So, Josh, what's your Instagram channel?
My Instagram is just joshing. And
Wait. Your Instagram is just Joshing, or is it just just joshing?
It's just joshing. Just one just and then joshing.
So
It's
at
just
joshing, or is it just at joshing?
It's at just joshing.
It's
But,
just Josh at just
Yeah, there we go.
It's just at just joshing.
Yeah.
At just joshing.
Okay, now no one knows what this is. We have destroyed this.
There's a guy who looks very similar to me with a big head, like a big inflatable head. That's probably it. If you Google it, that's probably me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, you ditched the croc one, huh?
I did. Yeah.
I thought it was just joshing VFX.
That's my TikTok, because there is actually someone that has just joshing on like TikTok and YouTube.
Wait, you managed to get just joshing on Instagram? Nobody had just joshing before you got it?
The funniest thing actually happened with that. Like some guy had it, and I was trying to think of a name first. I'm like, do I just do my just my like real name, Josh? It's so hard to say now. Am I gonna do Joshua Drury as like my name? Because I saw a lot of people doing that, and that's kind of like the style people are doing nowadays, is like the person's name. But I'm like, let's try to think of a name for Josh. So I came up with a few, and my friends think of a few too. And like Jolly Josher was one of them.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad that didn't make it.
Yeah, me too.
There was like a few of them that like this isn't it. But then like one night I was thinking, just joshing you. Like somebody says, I'm just joshing you, or something like that. So I tried just joshing, and it was taken. Just joshing you was taken. And then I'm like, maybe I could try switching like the U with a V or something like that, so it kind of looks it. But like nah, this isn't it. So the person who actually had just joshing, I messaged them. I'm like, hey man, like I'd be willing to buy your name off of you or something like that if you like. And it went into his message. I didn't ever get a response. I messaged him again like probably 2 weeks later, didn't get any response. And then on the third time when I went back, I noticed that his name was changed. He changed it to like Mr. Little or something like that.
Mr. Little.
But with like a bunch of other numbers after it.
Oh.
Like, I don't know how he went from just joshing to like Mr. Little, like 77.6 or something like that. Like, I'm like, I don't know how you did that. But like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, there's like a 2-week period of like the name is, they still have the name if they change it for 2 weeks, but then after it's like free real estate, I guess. So I'm like, all right, this is the day he changed it. Let's put 2 weeks on the calendar, and like on this day, just as soon as I get in the morning, just like keep trying and trying and trying.
Snatch it.
And I was able to get it. I'm like, thank you. And I messaged him
That's some
afterwards.
persistence, dude.
Yeah, I messaged him afterwards. I'm like, thanks, man. He still didn't reply to it. I don't know if he changed it because of me, or he just felt like Mr. Little was the better name.
After that, he just changed it to "You're welcome."
That's totally. He only communicates through his Instagram handle.
Every time you message him.
Yeah, so I was so happy I got that. Like I feel like it hits like the nail right on the top of the head for like the stuff I do and like my personality and stuff like that. So I'm super, super happy that that's like my brand name kind of now. So yeah. And like just to celebrate, like I crossed like 50,000 followers on my last video. I decided to make a hat and like my own design and like get my own like little merch, I guess. Like I'm not putting it out for anybody or anything like that, but thought I would get a hat of like my little logo of like the big the head. It was like I was been wearing it all week, but then today I'm like, nah, I'll just go hair. And then they're like, let's film a podcast. I'm like, cool.
One time to plug the merch.
But yeah, it feels cool like making your own clothing for like your brand and like feeling proud of like your name and stuff like that.
Heck yeah, man. This little logo we got everywhere.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit more legit. It just adds a little bit to it. So I'm super glad I did that.
Do you feel that pressure when you have to make a logo? You're like, oh my gosh, I need to live with this thing forever here. You know, ideally, I'm like putting it on everything. I hope it's good.
Yeah, I don't really know if I have a logo yet. Like I have my my thumbnail is just like my head inflated, like and just with me looking. And I don't know if it's like it's not really a logo. It's just more of like a photo of me, like just weird kind of thing. So I think that's going to be the route I take. I don't want to really take like an actual like logo, kind of like corridor digital. It's more of a logo than it is like the actual photo of something. So I think it's going to be what I stick with for a while, because I pretty much just branded everything with that. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping you don't want to change it too often because then it kind of messes
Don't
everybody
worry,
up.
our logo on YouTube was a character from one of our videos in a mask for, I think, 3 years.
Oh, right.
That was our YouTube logo.
The soldier from Prism.
Yeah.
That was our channel icon.
Oh, really?
And then we changed it to. Well, no, actually, no. I'm sorry, I'm screwed up. First, it was actually Jake wearing his Ghost from Modern Warfare.
Okay.
It was that for like 2 years, 3
Wow,
years.
I didn't know any of this.
And then I think I changed it to like the Tether Alien with like a bright yellow green background. And that one worked really well. Just changing that icon got us a huge boost in subscribers. We got thousands because that icon changed.
Wow.
So I guess it does matter.
Yeah.
And then I think we did the Prism guy for maybe a little bit. And then we got the logo now. Yeah.
Sweet.
No, you guys have one of the nicest logos I've ever like seen. Like it goes so well. Like, and I've been buying like your merch for a while now, and it's like not only
Thank you.
to support you guys, it's like you guys actually have like a really clever logo, and like it just looks nice. So
Thank you.
and it's really cool when you have people come up and like notice it too, and they're like, "Oh, that's a really nice hoodie," and you're like, "Do you know the person that I'm wearing it for?" You just think it's like a cool hoodie to look at, but yeah, no, I really like the Corridor Digital logo.
Thanks.
The best thing about the emergency green screen hoodie is that you can change it to whatever you want.
You can put the logo all over that thing.
Well, but except weathermen and weatherwomen can't wear it because they won't show up.
Yeah, they've
Their boss will think they didn't show up for work.
There's been numerous complaints from meteorologists who are completely dissatisfied with the product, but everybody else has been incredibly happy.
We shouldn't have done the green screen suit and tie. We knew that was a bad idea.
Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. Well, hey everybody, thanks for listening. Josh, thanks for joining us on this podcast. Looking forward to knocking out some more cool lightsaber shots the rest of the week with you, and also beating you for a second time with the Ganon versus Ganon fight. Yeah.
I want the rematch.
I'll have to live stream that on my story or something.
Yeah, we might have to live stream it too. We'll see. And to all you listeners out there, thank you so much for tuning into our podcast once again. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
If
Thank
you,
you all.
have Instagram, it's just your Instagram handle. Just remember, just tell people what it is. If it's just an Instagram handle, just know that it's just gonna be your Instagram handle.
All right, bye.
See you
That was
later.
great.